Hey, honey.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, everybody. I'm Fen, and this is Retro Review, a review show where we go through my copious amounts of out-of-print gaming books, magazines, and other RPG paraphernalia, one at a time. And to keep me from rambling, we have Laura.
Hey everybody. So to keep us on track, I'm going to ask a list of questions.
All right, start us off.
So what are we reviewing tonight?
Dragon Magazine number 321, and I know this does not have a cover because I found this one in a free little library on Magazine Street, right here in New Orleans.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Do you want to give us a quick synopsis of the articles inside?
So this is a thief and spy themed issue. The first article is It Takes a Thief, a Master Thief. Notes on how thief skills and armor penalties interact. Because there's this 95, none of your thief skills in AD&D could get up above 95%. And a lot of people be like, no, it caps off at 95%, and then you apply your armor penalty, and it's like, wait, no, it doesn't. You add everything up, and if it's above 95, then you bring it down to 95. So there's a lot of thieving armor penalties that I was taking for no good reason for many, many years, which is why I basically stopped trying to play a thief in like heavy armor. There's also notes on creating new thief skills or taking them from other sources, and a list of useful wizard spells and scrolls for thieves, because one of the thieves' special abilities is they can use scrolls.
Scrolls are cool.
Scrolls.
Yeah, they're cool.
Okay, I thought you said squirrels.
They're fun. Very cool too.
Alright. The next one is The Thief Who Came In From the Cold, an article on using thieves as spies in D&D games, along with new thief skill of cryptology, basically being able to create secret notes or decipher secret notes.
Where you write on the scroll.
Yeah. Next article is The Spying Game, article on playing spies, but because this was a found and damaged to use condition magazine, apparently somebody was harvesting like the good art out of it for some sort of artistic reason. So half of that article was ripped out, so not very useful other than the notes on what are the type of spies. Next article is Playing the Role of the Spy Master, article on setting up a spy adventure plus non-weapon proficiencies for spies. So basically how to play a straight up spy. Next one is Worms of the North. It's a column where they're going through all the different named dragons of the Forgotten Realms campaign setting. This month is Arviatures. I hope I'm saying that. It's all notes about his lair, territory, and signature spell, Awaken from Afar, which allows the caster to use a magical item without having to touch it, because a lot of dragons don't have like the actual like dexterity of a human being to use something. Like they can't play a magical set of bagpipes. So this dragon created a spell so he could use a magical set of bagpipes.
What would happen if you played the bagpipes?
Everybody runs screaming in terror?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's a dragon playing a bagpipe, so...
If it was a blue dragon playing the bagpipes, it would be like the opening to AC/DC's Thunderstruck. Alright, Defilers and Preservers. It's new wizard kits for the Dark Sun campaign setting. Again, that's, if you've never heard about the Dark Sun campaign setting, it was all set up where magic drains life forces, so you have to like drain the life out of something in order to cast a spell. If you don't have a life source, such as a plant or something like that, you can use people or even yourself. Again, these kits are not really useful for me because I never played the Dark Sun campaign setting. And the kits in it are divided between the ones that seek to take life force, or take a little bit of life force, to take a lot of life forces. So the ones that are like, I'm trying not to do harm. And the ones that are like, oh, bring me more captives. I got a ritual to cast. Next article is a sneak peek preview of the AD&D CD-ROM.
More antiquated technology.
I know. It's the problem with reviewing books from the 90s. So basically a CD-ROM was like a DVD that you put in your computer and it had a bunch of programs on it that you can install or look at without having to use the internet. When you actually own the physical media and they couldn't just take it down off the web because the website went down, or Amazon or Netflix or somebody decided we're going to rotate our movie selection. But anyways, this AD&D CD-ROM was, because they were getting, around this time period was when you were starting to get to the end of AD&D, and they're behind the scenes starting to work on 3rd edition.
Mm-hmm.
And
so this is like a preview?
Nope. This is basically, they went and took the player's handbook, the monster manual, the DMG, the Tome of Magic, Arms and Equipment Guide, so those 5 core books for the game, put them in an ebook version on a CD-ROM, so you can easily just read the books off your computer. It added in some software for creating character sheets and DM's tools that we could generate like player handouts, like notes and scrolls and treasure and maps, and create monsters and NPCs for you. Basically, for our newer generation who use the internet for everything, this was basically AD&D 2nd edition's version of D&D Beyond, but you didn't have to pay a subscription fee and everything was all right there. None of it hidden behind a paywall. I sometimes miss the technology we had to rely on before the internet, where you could just buy something.
You buy it once.
You buy it once. You're good. You have it until like the CD gets scratched, and then you got to buy a new copy of the CD. But you could take it. But yeah, so this, because they were getting towards the end of the life cycle and they knew they were going to switch editions, they put all the books onto a CD. And back then, copyright protection capabilities on computer CDs was laughable. Mm-hmm. So they weren't worried about people just basically taking it, copying the files, and then sharing the CD and backing it up on their computer, and then handing it over to their friends downloading it all and calling it a day. Because they're like, man, the new edition's coming out. Well, it's almost like giving it away for free at that point.
So what's next?
I know, I'm rambling. Next one is Measure of the Home Guard, a short story telling how the Dragonlance campaign is set in the Dragonlance campaign setting with the Knights of Salamina. I can't pronounce that. Solaminia.
Solaminia.
Alright.
I don't know.
Renewed themselves 9 years after the Cataclysm, when the gods left the world of Kryn. Basically, they're an order of paladins that was almost disbanded when divine magic vanished, and they reorganized themselves. Instead of being paladins, they were knights. Mm-hmm. And I always liked that idea of having the more knightly driven, magic-free paladins. Then the next article is The Game Wizards. It's a monthly column written by R&D members at TSR. This month is covering the Dragonlance 5th edition game, which is more of a social interaction role-play game like Vampire the Masquerade, and not like real D&D. And I know when that came out, that game really irked a lot of the... I remember, because during this time period, I wasn't subscribing to Dragon Magazine, I was subscribing to Inquest, and there were so many people writing into Inquest Magazine, and so many of the writers at Inquest Magazine drug that game through the mud because it was branded as D&D, but they're like, this is not This is not. I bought this thinking it was going to be some cool Dragonlance thing, and it's not. They were just mad about that game. Forum, it's the monthly letters column where players write in sharing their thoughts and opinions and replying to each other's thoughts and opinions. One such opinion ended up being part of the 3rd edition in that one writer felt that racial level caps are pointless as only humans could reach level 20 in all classes, and non-humans had certain points where in certain classes you couldn't advance any far, or you couldn't even take the class if you were a certain race. So that was one of the great things about 3rd edition. Definitely took some notes. They ended classism and racist classism in D&D ended with 3rd edition. Sage advice, FAQ column. People write in asking questions about different parts of the game. This month, their big question is how to use the skills. This entire article is like, how do you use, like half of this article is how do you use the AD&D skills and powers to make psionic characters, because that thing was confusing as heck. And the skills and powers version of the psionic rules were designed, and it was stated that it replaced the Psionics Handbook, which that thing was busted, and skills and powers was still busted, but at least
give a little bit of clarity.
Give a little clarity about how to fix it and how to do it right, because everybody who tried making stuff with that, I think they were doing it wrong, and their characters just came out way overpowered. And again, because this issue takes place, it was released right after last week's issue. They're talking about the Dungeon Dice game. Again, if you haven't watched last week's episode, it was a collectible dice game. You bought a box of dice that would have different images on them. You'd have to go and reference the image on the dice to the roll sheet and figure out which dice you had. If you were confused, this month it had the Feral Factions dice all printed out, so you could actually take the dice, match them up to the pictures in the article, and figure out what dice you had. Collectible dice games are stupid. They are confusing, they are clunky, they are hard to produce, and nobody wants to collect dice, okay? Especially weird dice that you can't substitute for other dice. This, I'm going to show everybody. This is Das Boot. This is my D&D dice collection. My regular 6-sided dice collection that I use just for playing Warhammer 40k.
And occasionally other games. Is one of these is a bag like this, Crown Royal bag, just full of 6-sided dice. There's also some throw out here.
Oh, there's some those are all the ones that are like not in with my other dice, because I actually separate out. I got dice that all look alike in the Warhammer 40k dice set. Okay. These are all the ones that go with all the rest of these D&D sets. And also some spare dice that didn't match. But yeah, that's what a dice collection looks like. It's all useful dice that I can use for any game. It's not dice with a bunch of weird symbols all over them that I can only use for one game.
Right.
Dungeon Dice rant over. And yeah, the Dungeon Dice article ended up being the last one in that magazine.
Okay. So which of these articles are you planning to keep?
I think probably really the first two, the Thief Who Came In From the Cold and the It Takes a Thief ones, just to at least just the useful wizard spell scrolls for thieves, just that that little section right there, just being like, okay, because I like the idea of being able to have the thief when you don't have a wizard in the party, being like, hang on, we don't have a wizard, but we got some scrolls, and having that that list of useful.
Yeah, that's useful.
I think that and the cartography skill are basically like the only two. And not a lot in this issue I'm planning on keeping. Sadly, it's in such bad shape that I think once I salvage the sections for this for my own collection, I'm going to recycle this magazine so it may get made into something, into another magazine or a book or something else. Possibly even toilet paper. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep those two things and then let this go and live a new life and end its suffering as a rated damaged magazine.
I'm sure it will appreciate that.
I think it will too.
Okay, well those are all my questions.
Alright, seeing how this is the last time I'll ever talk about it. If I'm wrong about Dungeon Dice and Dungeon Dice was such a great game, come at me. Leave it down in the comment section down below. I will take it. Your game was stupid? Come at me. Prove me wrong. Change my mind. Comment section. Let's fight. I love y'all. Peace.
Bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for staying till the end of the episode. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook at Board Barista Productions. And if you want to support us, Patreon link at the bottom.